Monday, all you beautiful radio listeners. Thank you for dropping in for our little happy hour. We appreciate you listening. If you're watching on YouTube, here's a hand gesture just for you. YouTubers, feel free to send us any text chats. Listeners' text line is 503-864-6326. That spells 503-2GO-FAN. We'd love to have you join the conversation, share your comments. Feel free to ask any questions on any topic. Or if you'd just like to know how long or how many times our new producer, Casey Smith, has listened to this show, you can ask him that. Or I can do it right now. Casey, have you ever listened to this show?
Yes, I listened to it a few times this weekend to get myself prepared.
Oh, did you really? So you told me just on Friday.
Just on Friday, a little bit on Saturday, just give myself a little bit of a...
Oh, you get all...
Had to run it back.
I was trying to explain to my children what grace meant this weekend, giving people space to kind of figure things out, man. So, hey, have fun. Should be a good time. Happy to have you joining us. I don't know anything about you. I'm going to give you 20 seconds right now to introduce yourself to me and the audience.
Well, born and raised Portland, Oregon. Graduated from Oregon State.
Okay.
Worked at KBVR. Did some game coverages and some radio broadcasting for them. And the second I graduated, I started trying to find jobs in radio because I fell in love with it, and it's the best job.
Well, fantastic. Well, we're happy to have you here. What are you hoping to accomplish at the Fan?
I'm just hoping to grow. Keep doing this for as long as I possibly can.
All right, dig it. Well, happy to have you here. If you don't listen to the show on a regular basis, every Thursday we have a segment called Take Your Pick. We do the NFL Pick'em, and if you win it, this is totally interactive. If you win it, you get to join the show on Thursdays. So anybody that is playing last week, probably wondering how they're doing, this is probably the most crowded leaderboard we've had going into a Monday Night Football game. Our normal producer, Jeff Rust, is tied with two other people. So 3 total. Have the Cardinals winning tonight. That is Rust, my sister, my own mother. If the Cardinals win, it will come down to points with them. There are 4 people that have the Cowboys tonight. That is P1 Rufio, sales assistant Johnny B. Bad, someone named Sam, and the great Will Ortner, all on the Cowboys. So regardless of who wins the game, it comes down to points. So check your sheets. And if you've never played, we will have a new one ready to go either tomorrow or Wednesday, and you can play along. Casey, you have not played yet. I think you're on the emails. Are you at least getting the emails?
Yes, I'm seeing them, and I'm finally starting to narrow down.
If you're just ignoring them, that's fine. You're probably just scared. You've been on the air now, so all you got to do is come in here and take your picks with us, and it's a piece of cake. So.
I can do that.
All right. Before we get into today's main topic, I do have a question for any parents of sports children's out there. So if you can give us your answers on the text line or on the YouTube chats, that would be great. Tough loss on Saturday for the aggressive Orange Otters. That is my twin daughters' 8- and 9-year-old girls basketball team. Oof. My question, though, should you be proud if one of the officials has to come from off the court, so somebody just monitoring the league has to come in and step between your daughter and another 8- or 9-year-old girl because they're about to throw hands? Is that a proud coach/father moment, or should I be slightly embarrassed? I was not antagonizing anyone. I was completely out of it. I was kind of enjoying it.
Was it a start it or a finish it type of moment?
Well, I have twin daughters. One starts every fight. The other one finishes every fight. Finisher was about to go.
Ooh, okay.
And it's like the red shirt guys that are going around there. So we've got like the official. She is teenage girl age, I'm guessing. And she her first time officiating for Vancouver Parks and Rec. And she's out there doing her best. Well, the old hat, the guy that is there monitoring the league, he is not officiating the game. He sees fisticuffs about to be presented to the audience to consume, and he just runs right out on the court. No timeout, no whistles, no nothing. He just runs out there. He's like, all right, we all need to be friends, and we need to shake hands. And very reluctantly, my daughter puts up like stink face hand out, ready to shake hands. The other girl did not shake hands, refused to. Oh, so... Listen, she got mad. She was ripping and swinging maybe a little bit. Like, I don't think she was planning on hurting anybody. But you're not taking the basketball from me. So she's getting frustrated. Then there was a guy on the other team that also got warned by the same guy, and this was a parent of the other team, apparently just screaming at the referee. The same outside official had to go and warn this guy. So it was getting ugly.
Okay.
It was getting ugly. I was not involved in any warnings or anything. My daughter, just the one. But again, the question is that a proud parent moment or just teachable moment? We'll figure it out. So.
I would be proud.
All right. Then I will take that, and I will be proud. We'll see what the text line has to say later in the show. Right now, we need to talk a little bit about the Fall Classic. How fantastic was that World Series? I was hoping for Game 7. I think everybody knows that. I said it a million times on this show. All I wanted was more baseball. After the Mariners are eliminated, it's heartbreaking. Blue Jays, other than George Springer, kind of a likable team.
Rooting for in this World Series?
Whoa. There you go. Just cue that up right there.
Fat fingers.
It's funny that you hit the exact clip that we will listen to later. The Blue Jays, fairly likable. Other than George Springer, I think they're pretty easy to root for. John Schneider, as a manager, fine. The Dodgers, I've always had a somewhat of a rooting interest for the Dodgers because my initials are on their hat. LA, and I lived in LA, went to a lot of games at Chavez Ravine. I'm okay with it. Highest payroll in baseball. I don't know how to manage with that, but it was such a fun series. I just wanted more. It comes down to Will Smith with the big home run, Miguel Rojas with the bigger home run in the bottom of the ninth. Let me just give you this real quickly. Your big moments in that game, you have 5 runs scored by the Dodgers. Teoscar Hernandez hit the sacrifice fly for the first run. He was hitting .241 in the World Series, 7 hits, 10 strikeouts in 29 at-bats. He gets your first RBI. Tommy Edman gets your second one. He is hitting .143, and this is the entire World Series, including the Game 7. He's hitting .143 with 4 hits, 2 RBIs, one of them the sac fly that he hit in 28 at-bats. Max Muncy hitting .214, 6 hits, 11 strikeouts in 29 at-bats. Then you get to Miguel Rojas, who has 2 hits, one of them being the home run in the bottom or the top of the ninth, in 10 at-bats. He had one home run all season off of a right-handed pitcher. That was it. How good is that? I'm watching the game, the entire game, and all I was thinking was, as we get into the later innings, are we going to get Shohei Ohtani again? And when you get the Max Muncy home run, my first thought isn't like, Muncy just put him within 1 run. I go, Shohei Ohtani gets 1 more at-bat. The entire Rojas at-bat, all you're thinking is, all right, get this guy out of here so we can see the most expensive, the most versatile, the greatest 2 performances maybe you've ever seen in the playoffs.
Yep.
In elimination game against the Brewers to put them out. He was awesome. What, he had 3 home runs in that
3
one?
3 home runs and pitched 6
10
scoreless innings.
strikeouts. No big deal.
Yeah.
9 times he got on base, had 2 home runs, 2 doubles, got intentionally walked 4 times in Game 3 in 18 innings. Unbelievable. He gets 1 more at bat. No. Miguel Rojas goes, I'll just take care of it right.
I'll just do it so he doesn't take all the shine.
And then Will Smith, who hit 111 in last year's Fall Classic, hit 267 this year. He had 2 home runs in the World Series. 1 is bigger than any home run that he will ever hit, as long as he plays baseball, as long as he plays wiffle ball with his kids in the backyard, as long as he goes and plays stickball in some future where we go back in time and play stickball again, he will never hit a bigger home run than that. But those were not the guys. It wasn't Freddie Freeman. It wasn't Mookie Betts. It wasn't Shohei Ohtani. But it was Yamamoto.
Yep.
And that was something Dave Roberts wasn't even sure that he could do it. So he pitches in a full game earlier in the series in Game 2. He comes back and pitches a 6-inning, win in Game 6, and then he just turns around and throws 2 2/3 to finish it out. Here's what Dave Roberts had to say about his MVP of the World Series.
For me, at that point in time, I wanted to give, Roki or Yamamoto an opportunity to keep the game, at bay. And then, once he did that, he felt confident that he could stay in his delivery, wasn't going to compromise health. And then at that point in time, even for that third up, he said, Daijobu, means I'm okay. And so for me, I just trusted him, and he came up big again.
It's unbelievable. The whole series, just such good theater. The whole damn thing. This was as good a baseball season as I could remember. It couldn't have finished any better. I don't know what your thought was, but my immediate thing was, what timing for me to get my own radio show and dive in here and be able to talk. We talk baseball almost every day on this show. And for it to end like that, it was absolutely perfect for everyone except for my wife, who had to keep putting up with Major League Baseball.
What I loved
again.
more about that series, that my brother, who is a diehard Philadelphia Phillies fan, he broke out his Toronto Blue Jays jersey the second that Vladimir Guerrero came out and said, "The Yankees lose."
How does he have a Blue Jays jersey as a diehard Phillies fan?
You should ask him.
Okay. Is he Canadian?
No.
Okay.
Not even a little bit.
All right. Well, that's a weird one. 98 days, 6 hours, 48 minutes, and 56 seconds until spring training, according to springtrainingcountdown.com. 26 million people watched Game 7 of the World Series. Does that compare with the Super Bowl? Absolutely does not. 127 million people watched last year's Super Bowl, but more than double the average viewers for Game 5 of last year's NBA Finals. So baseball, is it back? I don't know. But that was a fantastic season. There are a lot of stars around baseball from all over the world, whether it's Japan or Cal Raleigh at home or Aaron Judge or whoever it is. So baseball in a very, very good place, especially with an end like that. I cannot wait for next year.
Agreed.
But right now, let's do some In Case You Missed It. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in case you missed it, Coach Raheem Morris of the Falcons and center Ryan Newsiel accused the New England Patriots of using clapping to simulate Atlanta's snap count in a late-game situation, an accusation that Patriots coach Mike Vrabel sarcastically dubbed Clapgate. I know Vrabel is minimizing this, but I went back and I watched the tape. Not only was the safety clapping, but you could also hear fans clapping too. We need an investigation. Get in there. And do you have the reactions ready?
There you go.
You don't have to pity me, but I see you laughing a little bit, so we need to get the audience to know how we feel about it. You're good. In case you missed it, Jaguars kicker Cam Little set an NFL record for the longest field goal, successfully kicking a 68-yarder during the team's 30-29 overtime win against the Raiders. Whoa, what an honor. Cam Little, the greatest not a real football player ever. Woo! No? I'm sorry. Do you count kickers as real football players?
Yeah, 100%.
What? Get lost. I know they're both achievements, but if you were playing a job as a badass, would you put longest field goal kick in NFL history or beating the 2025 Raiders on your resume?
If one of those records means beating Sebastian Janikowski and thou who shall not be named?
Big fat Sebastian Janikowski?
Yeah.
Oh. And is that thou who shall not be named? Is that Vinatieri?
Justin Tucker.
Oh, Justin. Oh, yeah. That's probably a fair one. Good point. In case you missed it, for the second consecutive season, Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski has relinquished play calling duties, handing the responsibilities to offensive coordinator Tommy Rees. You ever meet a guy that wants to quit his job but knows that you got to get fired so that you can collect a sweet 10-figure unemployment check? I give you Kevin Stefanski. How bad does he want out of Cleveland?
I think everyone wants out of Cleveland.
Well, of course, yeah, that's fair. That is a fair point. And finally, in case you missed it, legendary wide receiver Marvin Harrison Sr. has harshly criticized the Arizona Cardinals' offense and modern NFL schemes, stating that he finds the team's style of play very hard to watch. Harrison Sr. is so frustrated that he said he rarely discusses football with his son and no longer attends teams' games. Hey, Marvin, guess what? For most of us, watching our kids play sports sucks. Don't be a bitch. Go to his games. Can we do that, please? He probably went to some private high school, was the best player by a mile, and had a quarterback that was ready to go D1. Then he watches him play at Ohio State. Oh, he went to the Cardinals. They're not very good. Shut up!
How spoiled is Marvin Harrison Sr. that he hasn't watched bad football since before Peyton Manning entered the league?
He always struck me as somebody that cared very much about his own performance and his own team and did not watch it. Like, you get Sunday Night Football last night, and the Seahawks are out there and they're winning. They're like, the most important thing about this is that they're not only are they making a statement, but they're doing it in front of the entire league. Everybody's watching this game. Marvin Harrison, one of those guys, well, he was not watching that game. Like, even when he played, he's like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. And
I'll catch it on the SportsCenter ticker.
I don't even think he does that. He probably just goes and like reads a book under a tree in a meadow somewhere, like on one of his palatial properties. I don't think he cares about football at all. And then his kid plays like, oh, I got to watch more football. And then he's like, oh, they stink. I'm not watching. I'm not going to their games anymore.
Went from watching his kid run routes and catch every ball in youth football to now I get to watch him catch 3 catches and them lose.
Did you have Marvin Harrison Jr. as your worst Ohio State wide receiver?
Definitely did not have that one.
Ooh, that's another weird one.
Definitely not on my video.
It is absolutely bizarre. All right, with that, we need to go to the Daily Buzz. We're going to do that next. It's Happy Hour on 105.1 The Fan.
Now, here's a quick look at Portland traffic.
That is correct. I'm your host. With me, we got Casey doing his first happy hour. We'll see how this whole thing goes. But a great night for the Seahawks last night. Not a great night for the Washington Commanders. It was a landslide victory for the Seahawks. They win 38-14, and I don't even think it was that close, which is a weird thing to say when you win by 24 points. But the Seahawks moved to 6-2. The Commanders going very much the wrong direction. Yes, they lost the game, but they also lost a couple of players. Most importantly, Jaden Daniels, a real ugly dislocated elbow last night.
Where does that one rank in terms of gross injuries you've seen on television?
I can't remember the kid's name from Louisville where his bone came out of his leg. There you go, Kevin Ware. That was probably the worst, but on my 16th birthday, I had a little incident with a metal spike sliding into my arm when I was playing shortstop, trying to catch a runner stealing second, where I stared at my own bone and I was like, that's kind of cool. I did the same thing with Kevin Ware, but that was probably the most gruesome because they kept showing it. Like, they're like, I can't quite see what we're seeing here, so they'd show it and go, does that look like his bone? Show it again. They actually did a pretty good job of not showing it very much last night. I kind of went, it was funny because I initially looked at his legs because he's coming off of, a hamstring injury. So I'm looking down at his legs. So the first time I didn't see the elbow at all. The second time I caught it just at the very end, and then they never showed it. I didn't bother going back and replaying it. So it wasn't bad as the Napoleon McCallum knee going backwards for the Raiders. I don't know if you ever saw that one. Where
No, never saw that one.
He's going in and his knee hinges the exact wrong way. So bad, but not as bad as
Nick Chubb at Georgia, I think, was one of the worst ones I think I ever saw.
Yeah. You know what? Which one was really bad? And I don't think it was like a arm or leg going the wrong way or a foot doing anything. Do you remember the last tackle that Tua had when he was in college where he was grabbed and ripped down, and as he hit the turf, he just looked like a corpse, just flailing. He got pulled down. He ended up hurting his hip, and he got a concussion, and he got just absolutely ruined. But I think that was his last college play, if I remember correctly. So I don't know. I don't have a great categorical memory of all of the worst injuries. But what I do know is that Sam Darnold had a perfect first half, 16 of 16, 4 touchdowns. On the night, the Seahawks offensive line gave up 3 pressures. 12% of Sam Darnold's dropbacks he was pressured on. That is the lowest of his career. On the opposite side of the line of scrimmage for the Seahawks, they pressured Jaden Daniels 17 times, 51%. They hit him on 14 of the dropbacks. That pressure rate is the highest of Jaden Daniels' career. Third quarter injury was, I guess the fourth quarter injury sustained by Daniels is getting a lot of heat on Dan Quinn because a lot of Commanders fans were asking why your quarterback was still in the game at that point. Dan Quinn has said 100% on me. Well, of course it is, but you're also trying to win football games. You need your guy to be out there. That's one thing that I'll never buy is leaving a guy in when it's an NFL football game. It's very rare to pull the starters. I know that the Seahawks immediately pulled Sam Darnold after that, but you're playing backup quarterbacks at that point, and you just seen the other quarterback. I wonder how much of that was just reactionary, but I don't buy. Let's protect everybody from injury at the end of a game.
Yeah,
so.
I get Seattle being reactionary, taking Sam Darnold out, but when you're in Washington's case,
you're trying to win.
Jaden Daniels is coming off of a hamstring injury, and you're trying to go out and get your best snaps that your offense can have, just to give you some good film, give you some momentum going into the next week.
Yeah, starting to feel very much like a lost season for the Commanders, and we'll see what happens moving forward. There hasn't been any timeline that I've seen on the elbow injury. They're doing MRIs today. I've not seen an update on that, but we move on.
The Buzz.
The Blazers take on the Lakers tonight. Luka Doncic coming off of a triple-double that extended his team's winning streak to 3 games. Doncic, 29, 11, and 10 assists for his 83rd career triple-double. He was, of course, out when they played the Blazers in their last meeting in Los Angeles. But the number that jumped off of the page for me, Doncic has 165 points through 4 games this season. Those are the most points since Wilt Chamberlain in 1962-63. anytime you are in the same numerical categories with Wilt Chamberlain, that's insane. I don't know if that says more about the Lakers with Luka or the Lakers without, but Austin Reeves had 51 when he was gone. I feel like this is a team that maybe lacks some offense, and it's going to be a one-man show pretty much all year, whether that one man is Luka, if he stays healthy, LeBron, Austin Reeves. You're going to have that three-headed monster out there, but I don't know where any of your other scoring comes from.
Whoever has the hot hand, dish it to them, let them go to their spot.
Yeah, it feels like that's what's going to happen all night. All right.
The Buzz.
News for your Vetter Cup champion Seattle Mariners. I know. Don't be too sad. Mitch Garver will be a free agent.
The Buzz.
All right, moving to the trade deadline in the NFL. The Philadelphia Eagles have broken the seal, as it were. Jalen Phillips from the Dolphins for a 2026 third-round draft pick. They are trying to improve their pass rush. The Eagles currently rank 23rd in total defense, 24th in sacks. Not great for a team that was basically, let's tush push and play defense our way to a Super Bowl a couple times. This first move that we've seen, the trade deadline is tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, so 1 p.m. local. It'll be right before our show. Couple teams out there that have been rumored to be very active. 49ers, obviously, with all of their injuries. The Rams have been mentioned in it as well. And the other team near the top of the NFC West, the Seattle Seahawks, are supposed to be very aggressive. I've heard multiple reports that they're looking for things. One of the things that I hate about sports radio is sitting there going, you know what would be great if they went after this guy or that guy, or following all the rumors, because chances are we'll know by 1 o'clock tomorrow what actually gets done. But I will say some of the names that are out there that are a little bit intriguing. Trey Hendrickson has said that he wants out of Cincinnati, and Cincinnati is apparently listening to offers and taking calls. The other one, Bradley Chubb, out of Miami. When you saw pass rusher leaving the Dolphins, the first thing I checked for to see was if it was Bradley Chubb. It was not. So a couple things to keep an eye on. I think that's it we have for now. So let's walk over to the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, and Casey can tell us what we missed.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
This Sports Center update is brought to you by Mountaintop Metal Roofing. No maintenance, energy efficient, fire resistant, and a lifetime warranty. Do it once, do it right. Visit mountaintopmetalroofing.com. First on the Fan, Seattle Seahawks wrapped up Sunday Night Football in tremendous fashion. Sam Darnold with another elite performance, tossing for 4 touchdowns en route to a 38-14 victory over the Commanders. Commanders quarterback Jane Daniels did exit the game Sunday night with a significant injury to his non-throwing arm. MRI on his left elbow later today to confirm the diagnosis. For Adam Schefter, the Miami Dolphins are trading edge rusher Jalen Phillips to the Philadelphia Eagles. Miami will receive a third-round pick in the 2026 draft as the Eagles add a boost to their pass rush. Week 9 of the NFL season will wrap up tonight with the Cowboys taking on the Cardinals. Kyler Murray is still nursing that foot injury, so Jacoby Brissett will get the start in his place. And last but not least, we wrap up on the hardwood as the Blazers host Austin Reeves and the Lakers here in Portland at 7 p.m. tonight. Blazers without Matisse Thybulle and Blake Wesley. For more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Casey Smith from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Recruiting with Andrew Nemec, Thursday evenings at 7 after Isaac and Sue.
Good luck, man.
Thank you. I'm a genius.
But what did I tell you that I was rooting for in this World Series? Game 7. Game 7. So, now I can root for the Dodgers tonight. And then you know who I'll root for tomorrow? I don't. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Know who you're rooting for now?
Yeah, I'm rooting for baseball. That was such a great series, and it was a great season. There was just historic numbers all over the place. The Mariners season was fantastic. As a fan, just to be in it that far, it was funny. Schultze comes in here in the break and just says, hey, what's happening? I asked him what he thought of the World Series. It's like, I just glad the Blue Jays lost. I hate them. You have to have enemies, you have to have villains, you have to have all of those things. It was all the unsung heroes that won it for the Dodgers in Game 7. The best players on the Dodgers played well in big spots. The whole thing was awesome. I am rooting for more baseball as soon as we can get it. What did I say it was? 98 days, 6 hours, 25 minutes, and 20 seconds until pitchers and catchers report to spring training. Let's go.
The Blue Jays lose.
I will give you the reason if anybody's out there trying to convince themselves to take the Commanders. Desperation is a powerful tool. This is their season. They need to get a win. And so feels, especially since the Cowboys are going to win on Monday night, you need to keep pace at least with the Cowboys.
And are the Commanders even more desperate now with or without them?
I didn't see a lot of desperation on the Commanders last night. So we did a little family trip this weekend. So we go down to the coast. We try to do like a winter trip to Cannon Beach every year. Weather ended up being absolutely beautiful, but it's a chance for just me and my wife and the twins to just go and hang out, just the four of us. It's always a good time. I had to kind of massage in some time to watch a World Series. My wife knew I was rooting for Game 7. She was rooting for the Blue Jays to end it in 6 very, very vehemently on Halloween night. She was disappointed when she knew it was going to be a Game 7 because she knew I'd watch that. That was the only sports that I did all weekend. And then the Seahawks game was Sunday night, so we would be home already. And I just said, all right, I'm all in on the trip. Give me a little time to watch a World Series. And I watched most of it while I was making dinner, so earned the first 7 innings, watched the last 2 on the TV. The rest of it I was basically watching on my phone. I sat down to watch a great football game, hoping that the Seahawks would look good against a good team with their quarterback back. I did not see desperation in the Commanders. I saw age. Their defense looks really old, and there's a guy that I'm quite familiar with in the middle of that defense, Bobby Wagner, and he just cannot get to the edge anymore. And I know that everybody seems to have this idea that Seahawks are going to run the ball a bunch, because they are. And they think the best way to stop them is to load the box. And it does seem to work against the run game, but man, they can't stop Sam Darnold. He gets the ball outside so quickly, and then all of these rookie wide receivers just getting the ball in space or getting it, making a collision, run Cody White's bounce off the defender and run it for another 40 yards was absolutely awesome. Commanders, now without Jaden Daniels, probably for the foreseeable future, feel like they are cooked. Desperation is gone.
But what did I tell you that I was rooting for in this World Series? At Steelers. The Steelers are 4-3, but a shaky 4-3. The Colts are 7-1. Jonathan Taylor is averaging like 2.2 touchdowns per game or something ridiculous like that. Daniel Jones is being talked about as an MVP candidate. Shane Steichen is your coach of the year. I'm going to go with the Colts to win this game because I just do not trust Aaron Rodgers or, surprisingly, the defense of the Steelers.
Defense had 6 takeaways this weekend.
Yeah, that's all. 5 of them on Daniel Jones, 3 interceptions, 2 fumbles, another fumble by Josh Downs. All right, this one did not age very well. There was a great quote by Mike Tomlin. He said, "There's a fine line between drinking wine and squashing grapes." I thought that maybe as the season progressed, you would see the Steelers do what they always do, which is just slowly figure some things out until they are somewhat of a formidable opponent by the time the season ends. They're good enough to have a winning record because that's what Tomlin does. They're good enough to be a fringe playoff team because that's what Mike Tomlin does. I did not expect a huge turnaround at any point during this season, especially against a team that looked not unstoppable, but certainly the top of the AFC. And I know that Indianapolis had not had the most difficult schedule, but there wasn't a lot of quality wins on the Steelers' schedule either. This was a complete 180 for that defense. They had not been getting the pressure on the quarterback at all. They had 5 sacks. They hadn't been stopping the run as well as they needed to. I watched the Seahawks play against them. The Seahawks looked really good against them.
Seahawks ran the ball all over him.
45 yards on 14 carries for Jonathan Taylor. He's been the leading rusher in the NFL to this point, by far his season low. It was a vintage performance, and now I think you have to take note of the Steelers moving forward. The Ravens are kind of back in the mix for that division. The Browns are terrible. The Bengals are terrible. The idea that did you watch Sunday Night Football last night?
Yeah.
So as I mentioned, I was not watching much sports yesterday. And during the weekend I was selectively doing it because I love my family. I was very anxious to watch halftime of the Sunday Night Football game. I didn't watch the pregame or whatever it is, Sunday Football Night in America or whatever the hell they call it. So it gets to halftime. They do all of these little like feel-good pieces about what happened during the day. They didn't really do any highlights. The biggest one, Joe Flacco at 41 years old going out and throwing for 470 yards. What a performance and whatever. And I'm like, what happened in the game? Well, they lost. Of course they did. And the Bears beat them at the end. And yes, it was high scoring. Was that game entertaining at all? Did you watch that game?
I didn't watch it until the fourth quarter.
Ugh, barf. It was one of those things where football from afar threw up all over itself. And just look at Joe Flacco. They lost. That team is terrible. Trade away all your good assets. Trade Joe Flacco again. Let him try with another team and see if he can finally get into the playoffs, because the Browns ain't doing it. The Bengals ain't doing it. So now you've got the Steelers look like they're probably going to be for real if their defense can do that against the Colts. The Ravens are for real. I can't wait to watch that race down the end. Do we have one more?
But what did I tell you that I was rooting for in this World Series?
We already did that one.
Game 7, so now I can root for the Dodgers
Casey,
tonight.
Casey,
and then, you know who
what
else
is going on?
tomorrow?
What is happening? What is occurring?
I guess that is it.
All right. Well, you know what? We tried our best. Did we load the same audio into multiple?
Guess so.
That's all right. It's all right. What was the other one that we were going to talk about? Because I think I wanted to talk about. What's that?
The Texans said have more magic in the tank.
I can tell you what I said. I don't know why I said it. Okay. I heard this clip earlier. For some reason, I said Texans have a little bit of magic, and I expect them to come out and start to show all of the potential that they have. They have a great defensive line. They've got pass rushers like Will Anderson out there. You keep expecting them to go out and have a big game. You expect C.J. Stroud to go out and do something at some point. Who knows? And I didn't believe that the Broncos were for real. I just thought that, at some point, the Broncos are not going to be a 2-loss team this season. I thought the Texans might pull something out. They certainly did not do that. But I don't know if you can convince me that it's worth watching a Broncos game. Even at now 7-2, they needed a 33-point comeback against the Giants to win a game. What'd they score? 11 unanswered in the fourth quarter yesterday to beat a Texans team that just doesn't seem to be doing much out there. What was that, 18-15? Is that a real NFL score? Let me double check that. Was that game 8? It was 18-15 Broncos over Texans.
Yeah.
I don't want any part of that. But the Broncos, if they keep winning, at some point I'm going to have to pay attention to them. I am not a huge fan of Bo Nix. I like him a lot more than I like Sean Payton. I don't know what it is about the guys as individuals that draw me away, but it might be just that I hate the Broncos. The Broncos logo, the Broncos colors, the Broncos being a former Seahawks AFC West opponent. Maybe it's John Elway and his teeth. There's just something about every time I see the Broncos logo. I hate them, and I hate the fact that they keep winning, and they win ugly, and it's really stupid. But they beat the Texans. So
they just don't
done.
excite me. I mean, they have
have
a good roster, and I feel like they have
their defense is good.
Good players, Cortland Sutton, Bo Nix, J.K. Dobbins, but they don't excite me like that.
Yeah.
Every week in, week out, I'm like, that matchup, I'll probably take the Broncos, but I don't know if I'm watching.
Yeah, the other thing that we had queued up for this segment was the Chiefs looked really scary going into Buffalo.
The Chiefs are looking
there you
more
go.
and more dangerous each week, and if you can make things easier for Travis Kelce, and you've got a faster, more determined Patrick Mahomes out there, plus the complement of weapons, I think this could be kind of scary.
Well, it was
How
scary.
scary are they?
It was scary for the wrong reasons. The funniest thing about it is, and let me see if I have all the numbers here. Patrick Mahomes was awful in this game. He completed 41% of his passes, 51 for 34. His career worst. Josh Allen completed 88.5%, more than double the percentage of passes that Patrick Mahomes did. 88.5%, 273 yards. That's the highest completion percentage and a franchise record for Josh Allen. This looked scary for all the wrong reasons if you're a Chiefs fan, except for one thing. It was 28-21. If I read you those numbers and you didn't know the score of that game, you would think that Buffalo won by 1,000. And the Chiefs were still in it. Their defense has been among the best at different times throughout the last half decade, and they've been really good this year keeping them in games, and they are getting more weapons back and all of that. So a loss to the Buffalo Bills does not take me off of the idea that the Chiefs will be in this at the end. They will be contending for their division. They will probably be contending for a spot near the top of the AFC.
Probably
none
playing
of
for
that
that
would
first
surprise
round
me. They've got 4 losses already. Buffalo's already got 2. Now Indianapolis has 2. So everybody's at least got a couple. They've got a long way to go, but I still never feel comfortable when you're playing against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, that's it. The tape don't lie. I'm an idiot. I'm going to say more stupid things this week, and we'll talk about them next week. But right now, we need to get to one more for the road. We do that next. This is Happy Hour on The Fan and The Fan Sports Network. All right, Casey, we're almost done. How you feeling? How you feeling you're doing so far?
Good. Little mistakes. Little
big
mistakes.
No big deal. What are the people saying on the text toy and YouTube chats?
Well, great question here. Would Marvin Harrison Jr. be better off playing for a Sean McVay or even an Arthur Smith?
Ooh, I mean, I don't know. There are more dynamic offenses out there than what you get with the Cardinals, but part of the reason is because you have to have dynamic players to make it all work. If he's that good, if he's so much of an unstoppable force, it really doesn't matter where you play. Everybody in the NFL is leaning towards offense anyways. Kyler Murray is as good at scrambling as anybody, throwing the football on the run. If you're one of those wide receivers that's unguardable, wouldn't you think that you might be open when you've got 3-4 seconds to go run a route? So I'm not necessarily buying that it's the Cardinals' fault that Marvin Harrison Jr. Isn't as good as he was forecasted to be.
And another one says, the Blue Jays have a better chance than you think. They do need help with their rotation. Do the Blue Jays possibly make it back to the World Series next year?
I don't know, man. It's a tough road to get to the World Series, and you see this every year where it's not always the best team that ends up there or the team that had the best season. The Dodgers weren't the 1 seed in the National League. They probably weren't the best team in this series by a lot of metrics, and a lot of people were saying that. Patrick Harris from The Firm right here on 105.1 The Fan was adamant that he thought the Blue Jays were the better team. I don't know if I buy that. Maybe top to bottom they were playing better, but they lost because I watched it, and that's what happened. So do the Blue Jays make it back? I don't know. Scherzer says he's going to play again next year, but I don't think you trust him in the lineup. Savage had a great little run, but people hadn't seen him a whole lot. Who knows what an entire season of wear and tear does on one of the weirdest release points in baseball. Who knows if Shane Bieber is going to be there, healthy, all of the things. So I think you got a lot of help from a bottom of the lineup that wasn't good for an entire season, but were great in the playoffs. There's a reason that Ernie Clement, who hit nearly 500 in the World Series, was hitting in the 8th spot for most of the series. It's because he wasn't that good all year. He just had one hell of a series, and I know that he almost had the game winner, if not for colliding outfielders making a catch that extended the game. He may have been the World Series hero, but you missed your chance. And trying to catch lightning in a bottle again is real hard.
Real tough.
Real hard.
Real tough.
Yep. So, is that it?
That's all I got.
All right. If you were not able to listen to the entire show, or you're not listening right now, no worries. Podcast is available 105.1thefan.com, Odyssey.com, the Odyssey app. As penance for missing a couple of the audio cues, Casey will be outside of the Odyssey building handing out free copies of the podcast on floppy disks. So if you need one of those, just come by the building here and you can get those. And if you didn't get that joke because you didn't listen to today's show and you didn't hear Casey's challenges that he had, boo to you! Then you'll really want to go and listen to the podcast. This show, past shows, future shows, whatever you want. But right now, it is time for... Mondays are always easy. Tonight, you've got... unless you have YouTube. You've got the Dallas Cowboys against the Arizona Cardinals. That is your Monday night matchup. Did you know that Kyler Murray has never lost to the Cowboys at home?
Has he ever played them at home?
Oh, yeah, 5-0. Did you
Wow.
know that he's also not playing? He's at least not starting. He's suiting up. The Cardinals are on a 5-game losing streak. The Cowboys are the big favorites. They are averaging the third most points, 30.5 per game, but they also concede the second most. So get ready for shootout version. Jacoby Brissett will be your starting quarterback for the Cardinals. Can I interest you in a little Jacoby Brissett on a Monday?
I did have to pick him up in fantasy football. So
there you go.
I'm very interested.
There you go. The Cardinals' pass defense, 26th in success rate, dead last in touchdowns allowed. Ugh.
Yeah, not good.
If you're the NFL, how much do you want to go back and shuffle the deck from like week 1 or I don't know, week 2, week 3 for these primetime games? Because I know that Cowboys is always interesting. Cardinals are always somehow forecasted to be a little bit better than they end up being. But Monday Night Football for Week 9, it really feels like you should have something a little more intriguing out there than this.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah, I don't know. As much as I would like the Cardinals to be bad because they're in your division, it's also a lot more fun to beat good teams. So I don't know how much faith I have in them. Like I said, it should be a shootout here. Marvin Harrison Jr. has been playing better despite whatever his dad says and whatever everybody else says. He's been, over the last 4 games, he's had 60-plus yards receiving in the last 4 games. So there's at least something that is ascending to the right direction. CeeDee Lamb should play tonight. He has caught 7 or more passes in 3 of the last 4 games that he's played in. So at least it'll be fun. Should be a shootout. Shouldn't be a ton of defense played. So I think that's all that you really want from a Monday night game.
I think definitely you're hoping that CD comes back and catches 10 balls for 120 yards if you're a Cowboys fan. And on the flip side, if you're a Cardinals fan, you want Marvin Harrison to have a couple deep balls.
Well, for sure. Well, if you're the Cowboys, I think the only way you're winning games the rest of this year is by scoring a ton of points. It's just going out there. And Dak Prescott keeps getting the MVP talk around his numbers. The NFL's weird this way, too, because I always think it's funny when you look at quarterbacks and go, oh, my God, look at the numbers that he's putting up. The less defense you play, the more numbers you need to put up.
The better that quarterback looks.
Yeah, well, in theory, I mean, you could go out there and look terrible, and you could be the reason that you're losing by 40. But if your defense is just bad and you have to score 40 points a game, that means you're in pass mode pretty much the entire time.
Yeah.
You're playing against a dime defense in a lot of situations where they've got a lead and there's dropping everybody back. So you can complete a lot of balls underneath. If you've got talented wide receivers, they can go out and run. So it's not shocking that a bad team has a good quarterback. I think that's one of the illusions in the NFL. If you are playing the Pick'em, I mentioned it earlier, there are 7 people still alive in it. 3 have the Cardinals, 4 have the Cowboys. We'll get the results of who the smartest person of the 30 or 40 people that are playing our silly little Pick'em are, and you'll be invited to play on the show on Thursday. But yeah, go Cardinals? Who are you rooting for, Casey? All right, go Cardinals. Everybody have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much for listening. Casey, thank you for making it through your first edition of Fan Happy Hour. Thank you, as always, to Isaac Robb. Of course, we are done for now. Bye-bye.
And they're bigger than ever. Take 40% off select gifts and holiday decor for 3 days only, starting this Thursday.